कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नमो
भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतेर्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, it's the summum and bonum. Chapter 29, Krishna and the Gopis meet. Text 47 and 48, yeah. Text 47. Evam bhagavata Krishna labdhamana mahatmanah atmanam menire strinam maninyo yatikam bhuvi. Evam, in this way, Bhagavata, from the personality of Godhead, Krishna, Lord Krishna, labdha, receiving, mana, special respect, mahatmanah, from the Supreme Soul, atmanam, themselves, menire, they considered, strinam, among all women, maninya, becoming proud. He indeed, athikam, the best, bhuvi, on the earth. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The gopis became proud of themselves for having received such special attention from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And each of them thought herself the best woman on earth. Purport. The gopis were proud because they had attained as their lover the greatest of all personalities. So in a sense, they were proud of Krishna. Also, the pride of the gopis was a pretense created by Krishna's pastime potency in order to intensify their love for him through separation. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes Bharata Muni's Natya Shastra. Navina vipralambena sambhoga pushtim ashnute. Direct contact is not fully appreciated until separation has been experienced. Text 48. Tasam tatso bhagamadam bhiksha manam cha keshava prashamaya prasadaya tatraivantara dhiyata. Tasam of them, tat that, saubhaga, due to their good fortune, madam, intoxicated state, viksha, observing, manam, the false pride, cha, and Keshava, Lord Krishna, prashamaya, in order to diminish it, prasadaya, to show them the favor, tatra eva, right there, antardhiyata, he disappeared. Translation. Lord Keshava, seeing the gopis too proud of their good fortune, wanted to relieve them of this pride and show them further mercy. Thus, he immediately disappeared. Purport. The word prasadaya here is significant. Lord Krishna was not going to neglect the gopis. Rather, he would increase their power of their loving affairs by making another spectacular arrangement. After all, the gopis were basically proud of Krishna. He also made this arrangement, as we shall see, to show a special favor to the beautiful young daughter of King Vrishabhanu. Thus ends the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 29th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna and the Gopis Meet for the Rasa Dance. So we'll recite some prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you very much for coming today morning for this Srimad Bhagavatam class. And then I seek blessings of Srila Prabhupada and then all the assembled devotees here so that we can share something. This topic is very interesting and then very purifying topic to speak on. Last in this chapter, like we are discussing, so the intimate exchanges between the gopis and then Lord Krishna. The essence of whatever we do, whatever our spiritual practices, we do so many practices. We get up early in the morning and then we offer our prayers, we take bath, and then we sit for our japa. And then, so we hear Bhagavatam, We decorate the deities, and then we worship the deities, and then we take honor prasad, offer bhoga, honor prasad. So many things, This is all called aradhana or worship, and then sadhana, practice. We do so many things every day. What is the purpose of all these things? People say that, okay, so we attain Krishna, the Krishna's abode, so we become Krishna conscious. So the ultimate thing in the scriptures, it is said, whatever activities we are doing, so the essence is smartavyam satata Krishna vismartavyam najatuchit. So always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So this is the sum and substance. So whatever austerity, penance, anything we do, even in devotional service. And in this particular, these two verses are such beautiful verses. Of course, Bhagavatam, each and every verse is such a beautiful thing. The rasa dance or the intimate exchanges of the gopis is the topmost thing which most of our all of our acharyas always meditate on. In fact, the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, the most important essence is the gopi bhav, the worship of the gopis. So it is said, Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachi Dupasana Brajavadhu Vargena Va Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Amalam Puranam Prema Pumartho Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatradara Napara. So what it says is, so who are the topmost devotees? Gopis, Aradhya Bhagavan. First of all, who is the worshipable Lord? Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya, the son of the king of Vraja. So the son of Nanda Maharaj, he is Krishna. So if you have to worship, he is the person to be worshipped. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavan, and he lives in Vrindavan. Ramya Kachi Dupasana Brajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita. So how we should worship this particular Krishna? In the mood of gopis, Brajavadhu. So we are discussing about gopis who are who are excelled in their way of worship, excelled in the way of, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the book which we have to discuss. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Prema Pumatam, because it gives us the love of Krishna. It arises the love of Krishna in our heart. And who is telling this? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamitam. This is the opinion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is this is the topmost. Now we have two verses for today's discussion, and the first verse says, after attaining this particular process of worship of Krishna so intimately, where can we go wrong? How can we go wrong? The best of the worshippers are there. And then there is some, shortcoming. There is some shortcoming which Krishna did not appreciate. So the first verse tells about that shortcoming, and second verse tells about the consequence of that particular shortcoming. How Lord addresses, that shortcoming. So it is said that when you cook a very nice dish, when some particular thing is not there, so that is called salt. So it is not there, the dish may not be that much tasty. So it is said that Padunuga Manchikura Nalapaka Muchesinanaina Nandu Nimpodabedu Nuppulega Ruchiputtaga Nechunatadaya Bhaskara. So that is, it's in Telugu. So that's what it is saying is, you expertly prepare a dish, but you forgot to keep salt. So the dish doesn't taste well. Similarly, you became expert in your worship of Krishna. So that is the role model. That is the highest standard for everybody. Okay, this is how we need to worship Krishna, the mood of the gopis. But there is one particular shortcoming which Lord felt, okay, this is not good. we need to address this. So that shortcoming is, I am the best. So if we think I am the best, then Lord doesn't like it. Okay. So where we are going wrong? Krishna consciousness, okay, the best of the devotees. So where we are going wrong? Again, the principle is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. But when we think we are the best, then over. So the remembrance of Krishna is lost for temporarily. We are thinking about ourselves. We are the best. My process is the best. My institution is the best. Even Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we should be very careful. Like, we are worshipping Krishna. That is our good fortune. But if we think we are the best, then I am the best. Why that best is coming? Because I is there. My country is best. My thought process is best. Okay. So we need to be humble. Okay. We are so fortunate because of mercy of Srila Prabhupada and entire parampara. We got this knowledge, and then we share. That's it. Whether we are best or not, that is not our under our jurisdiction. So the Rasalila is not just staying with Krishna, but always thinking about Krishna in a mode of service. So we have got this famous painting in ISKCON. If you see, like there's like two halves of the painting. On the right side, it is like the Rasalila. I mean, Krishna, gopis, serving Krishna. And then on the on the left side, it is there. And then on the right side, it is translated as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. Okay. So the understanding is Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtan. So whatever is the Rasalila happening, so that is happening as if the Harinam Sankirtan in this present world. So there is no much difference. And then Harinam Sankirtan, the basic thing is we have to remember Krishna, then only the Sankirtan comes. And then if we think we are the best, so then it may not be the wise thing. And in fact, most of the pastimes, just recently we discussed some pastimes, like Indra, Indra is also troubling Lord and troubling all the Brajavasis, Brahma trying to test Lord. So all of these things, the root cause is this particular pride. We are the best. So let me see if this. So we try to test the Lord, and then so often we see because of pride, we think we are the best, and then because of pride, everything starts, and then a big pastime unfolds. In fact, there is one pastime of this Vritrasura in Srimad Bhagavatam. It comes. Imagine the pastime, like we see some pastimes, like Dhruva Maharaj pastime in Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj pastime in Bhagavatam. They extend to a lot of chapters. Vritrasura pastime extends to such a big, I think almost 11 chapters. And what is the beginning of that entire pastime? So the beginning is, very small. I think very small, and then it becomes a big thing. The beginning is Indra is sitting nicely in his court, and then all the damsels, they are dancing, and then he's enjoying everything. And then his spiritual master Brihaspati comes, and then Indra doesn't respect. So that is just the beginning of the entire pastime. And then that goes for 11 chapters. How there's a fall down, and then there is cursing, and then there's a demon, and then again praying. There are so many penances. So the idea is, when we think we are the best, the pride comes, and then Krishna can, when the heart is contaminated by pride, so we will not be able to remember Krishna. Then Krishna doesn't like. So if you see in the purport carefully, so first, the first verse, so it said, Gopis received special respect, mana. Okay, when we receive the special attention, so we should be very careful. So the word used is mana, And then next what is used is maninya. When somebody offers respect, okay, and then we take that respect, then it is dangerous. Maninya. So we took that, the gopis took that particular respect, they become proud. So this is what we need to be saying, So when somebody says, oh, such and such, His grace, Krishna Daya Das. So we say His grace means it's not my grace. So it's the grace of Krishna coming through me. So if we think, so when somebody is offering our respect, so we should direct that to the parampara. So what is our qualification? Our qualification is just we are in line with parampara. So then we will be safe. So if somebody is offering that respect, so we should always be careful. Like it's like a hot potato. So when somebody throws a hot potato in our hand, so we should be very careful. So we should again throw it to somebody else, or else if it is there in our hand, we will burn ourselves. Okay. So so that's what is happening here. Yeah. So we should be careful in and especially I experienced this. So when we do some service in Bhakti Center, they said, oh, you are the best, Prabhu, you are the best. So when somebody offers that compliment, so we should be very careful. If we take that compliment, if we hold to that compliment, so then it is very dangerous. So just like gopis felt they are the best. Krishna said, oh, gave such a nice attention. So they felt they are the best. Now we move to the next point. So it is said in the purport, also the pride of the gopis was a pretense created by Krishna's pastime potency in order to intensify their love separation. So it is said, gold, when it is kept in fire, then, the polish is better and it gets shine and then everything. Similarly, so when bhakti is there, but it is in order to intensify that bhakti, Krishna creates some tough situations and some situations where we become more humble. And what is the result of that? So we say, okay, gopis did mistake. We also do mistake. That's when we do mistake. So we say, it's like it's a pretense of Krishna. So it is helping me just increase my bhakti. So we should be very careful. So gopis. So we should not bring either gopis down to our level, or we should not increase our level to gopis. So we understand. How do we understand? Now question comes. Okay, when gopis does, then it is pretense. When gopis do this, then it is pretense. And then when we do, it is not pretense of pastime potency. How do we understand? So to understand this, so Acharyas gave this particular approach. Phalena parichayate. You judge anything by its consequences. So when we commit a mistake, and then somebody offers us a correction, so what will be our approach? Do we retaliate? Do we take it positively? Like spiritual master says, Prabhu, think in this way, this may not be right. So how do we take it? So that is what we need to. What gopis did when Krishna left, and then after that they were searching, and then when Krishna appeared again, so their love, was increased so much. The best of the songs, came out. That is Gopi Geetam. And then in that Gopi Geetam, they tell so painfully, Nakhalu Gopika Nandano Bhavam Akhila Dehinam Antaratmadru Vikhana Sarthito Vishwaguptaye Sakhaudevan Satvatam Kule. After this particular pastime, when the Gopi Geetam, gopis are saying, oh Krishna, you are not just the darling of gopis. Nakhalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan. You are not just the darling of gopis. Now they are thinking we are the best. Krishna is in our position. But after this pastime, they are thinking like that. Then who are you? Akhila Dehinam Antaratma Drup. You are the person who is there in everybody's heart. You are not just our own possession. You are there in everybody's heart. So this is what is the transformation. Now the gopis are understanding, yes, Krishna is equal to everybody. So that is what. And the interesting part is, like, so how this is resulting, initially, they were thinking, Krishna is mine. Okay, Krishna is only mine. So they were like too much, and I am the best, because Krishna is with me. Because of that, what is happening? Imagine the Supreme Personality of Godhead is with you, but you forgot that he is for everybody. Then what happens? Prabhu was singing in the morning, Adipurush Prabhu. It's a forest fire, So, I mean, if we go into the material vision, materialistic vision, so then it will become a blazing forest fire, samsara dav. So they were like, so much, burning with forest fire of possessiveness. And then in the next purport, it is said, Krishna understood, okay, this is something which is unwanted. And then what I need to do? So, you can see here, Lord Keshava, seeing the gopis too proud of their good fortune, wanted to relieve them of this pride. Samsara davana lalita loka tranaya karunya ghana ghanatvam. The heat, in order to relieve the heat, what is needed? A shower of mercy. A rainfall is needed. And then Krishna understood, okay, there's too much heat of pride. So we have to relieve them. So that is what here it is said, Prashamaya. So in one verse in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, it comes Shama Dama. Shama Dama Tapaschautam. Yeah. So basically, there are like some qualities of the Brahmanical nature. Yeah, Shama Dama Satyam, Arjavam, Shantirevacha, Brahma Karma Swabhavacham. So the qualities of a nice person or a sane person is, first of all, Shama. He needs to be peaceful. And it is now here in the word comes in this last verse is Prashama, means Prakrishta Rupena Shama, means it's like absolute peace. In order to give that highest level of peace, so Krishna said, okay, these gopis, they are thinking that, Krishna is only, they are the best. So now they are overpowered by pride, and then it's not good. So in order to give them the highest level of peace, so Lord disappeared from there. So it's very important that when we think too much of, proximity, it is said, yeah. So I forgot that exact verse, like exact line. But if you are too much in association of something, then we take it for granted. So yeah. So they took, taking Krishna for granted, that is not a good thing. Even it happened even in Prabhupada times also. Like spiritual master, when we associate too closely, so we think, oh, I am also sneezing. My spiritual master is also sneezing. I am also sleeping for 6 hours. My spiritual master is also sleeping for 6 hours. So then we tend to, so maybe not understand the intensity of the person with whom we are associating. So sometimes, a distance is always appreciated. So when we have a distance, then we understand, then there is a longingness, and then we understand the value of that. Okay. And then Prashamaya, and then the last word is Prasadaya. No matter however, whatever anarthas we have, that is what one of the greatness of Krishna is. Krishna will never leave on us. Krishna will always, hold to us. So there's one very nice pastime in Ramayana. So they are building a bridge from the Kanyakumari or Rameshwaram to the other side of that is Lanka. So everybody they are building the bridge, and then all the Vanaras they are bringing boulders, monkeys. They are bringing boulders, and then they are writing the name of Sri Ram, and then they are throwing in the water, and the boulders are floating. So Lord Ram was so surprised. Wow, there's so much potency in my name, And then Lord Ram also took, okay, all the monkeys are doing, so let me also do. He also took one stone, and then he wrote Sri Ram, and then he threw. And then to the surprise of all, so the stone sank. Then Lord Ram was a bit embarrassed. Hey, what is this? Everybody is throwing the stones and stones are floating. And then Ram himself is throwing, but the stone had got submerged. What is this? So then Hanuman and then Sugriva, they came and said, see, Lord, those who are drowning, you are the source of help. So you are the one who is uplifting. But you yourself will leave. So then what is the hope for the people? So they will definitely drown. So that's why Lord never leaves, So that is, Lord is always with us. And then that is the, pledge of the Lord. So if somebody says, I will take shelter of you, so then Lord will never leave. So what to speak of gopis who cannot forget Krishna, who cannot forget Krishna. They are saying, oh, this remembrance of Krishna is so much difficult, we are not able to forget Krishna. So when those gopis felt a little bit of pride that, yes, we are the best. Then Lord thought that, okay, I need to address it. I need to protect the greatest of the devotees. So this is what is prasad. That is the mercy of Lord. Okay. So we saw so many peace, we saw pride, we saw pretense, and then we saw prashama, and then we saw prasad. So ultimately, this is prasad. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati kutopi, dhyayan stubam stasya yasya stri sandhya, vande guru shri charanaravindam. Who else but Srila Prabhupada, because of whom we could discuss this pastime of, Rasa Leela and the gopis, this is just because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Yasya prasada, his grace, whose grace is Srila Prabhupada's, his divine grace. And then Krishna's grace is flowing through him, through the parampara. So thank you so much for attentive hearing. So I would like to summarize. So we started the discussion with the two things. So what the gopis felt and then what Lord did. The crux of Srimad Bhagavatam is Rasa Leela, many people say, because that's the intimate exchange, that's the perfect exchange of the topmost devotees to the Supreme Lord. And then in that intimate exchange, what can go wrong? Something can go wrong. So that's what Krishna doesn't like is, we are the best. We are nothing. Okay. So, and then when we think we are the best, then the Krishna Smaran will go away. So, because ultimate essence is always remember Krishna. And when we think we came in picture, then Krishna went away. So then, some people say this is, just as a pretense to intensify the love of gopis. Yes, that is true for gopis, but we should be very careful. When in our own lives, we should not bring gopis down to our own life. So we should be very careful. That's why for us, sadhana bhakti is recommended. And then whatever spiritual master says, and then the sadhus, guru, sadhu, and shastra. So scriptures, the other saintly people and spiritual masters say, so that is the topmost for us. And then, so when there is a separation, the love intensifies. And then, so we should be very careful. And then Lord gives peace ultimately. That is his pledge, that he'll never give up devotees. So he gives peace, but he has his own ways, and then he's all merciful. So he'll never leave us. That is his prasad. And then his mercy flows through his disciples and then the acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, by whose grace we are able to discuss all these things. Thank you so much. Yeah. Any questions or any comments? Prabhupada Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful, 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 wonderful class. Kind of interesting. We go to the movies and something happens. The hero is in danger, and we respond in the heart, in our mind, we become fearful. Oh, he's in danger. Or if there's something sad happens, a sad movie, people cry. They actually cry because they're paying attention and they're identifying with the character, with the hero. And when something painful happens, then they're weeping, And I've seen sometimes in the Marai Bupa, Marai Babu, you know what that is? He's a man who talks Ramayan stories. I was in Malaysia, and they have like this. He talks every day for 6-7 hours, and there's like thousands of people. The Ramayana is full of very emotional, wonderful, loving exchanges and painful things that happen to Ram, and he doesn't have any costumes and no music, no scenery, and yet no actors. Just him telling the story, and thousands of people are weeping because they're really taking this. When you hear a story, and then Krishna left the gopis, I've seen devotees just sitting there, Krishna left the gopis. We should actually just cry through the rest of the class, right? It's so terrible and sad and tragic that they could become so close to Krishna and then Krishna leaves them. It's terrible. I mean, really, it's not just an intellectual account of a story. When you really feel that, that's an interesting way to respond. And I understand myself that I don't have that degree of like sensitivity to actually take this so seriously. And one interesting point is you mentioned like the association of the spiritual master, just like the gopis became familiar and they took Krishna's presence for granted and they became proud, in the presence of the spiritual master, there's also a great danger. We can make a lot of advancement with the association of the guru, or there's a possibility of making an offense, becoming familiar, take the spiritual master for granted. So Prabhupada said, when spiritual master comes in the room, everyone offer obeisances, bow down, that remember that this is not an ordinary person before your spiritual master, to remain as if a 4 or 5-year-old child, because this is Krishna's representative. This is someone who's taking my sins on his head. This is a person who's reaching out to me, is willing to die for me, is willing to come back again and again if I don't get out of this material world. So we can become familiar with Krishna, like the story with the gopis, and they became a little proud. We can become familiar with the spiritual master and familiar with the devotees, familiar with the temple, that it's such a privilege to be here. And that actually the exalted devotees are not haughty and arrogant and proud. And I remember just seeing Prabhupada for the first time because I saw the pictures and he looked so regal. He's just so dignified. And I was thinking, is he proud? Is this person arrogant? But when I saw Srila Prabhupada, when I actually looked into his eyes, it was like a shock, and I realized this is a very humble person, so the exalted devotees, the more higher they are, the more humble they are, the more they are considering that these other devotees, I'm their servants. I am blessed to be around them, to be around people that have integrity and wisdom and sincerity and are trying to be servants of Krishna. And to just, maintain that appreciation is actually, like you said, safety. But there's also the danger that we might become proud. And then we lose Krishna. We lose the association of devotees. Because in this world, everyone is thinking, yeah, I'm the best. Right? It's subtly or grossly, they're thinking, I'm better than that one. I'm better than this one. I know better. Right? So you're right. There's a lesson to be learned. And it's a very powerful lesson, and the feeling can be very deep about how horrible it is for Krishna to go, and how easily we can slip into that. Anyway, maybe talking too much. Oh, where's the Srila Prabhupada?
Thank you, Adipurush Prabhu. Said especially with Bhakti Center also, we should be in a temple. So it's not that familiarity breeds contempt. We should. Yes, Venetia Prabhu, would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you so much, Krishna Daya Prabhu. Thank you for this class. And I was just reflecting how lucky we are to have you as part of this Sangha. You're so not only knowledgeable, you are our Google of Sanskrit, but just so humble as well, which is so instructive. And thinking about humility and Srila Prabhupada, and I know that, I think it came up in this class once, although I can't remember where I heard it, that, you know, we dwell a lot on how when he first came to this country, and, you know, I was at the 26 Second Avenue yesterday, and there were some visitors from India, and they were sort of looking at the Bowery and just shaking their heads, thinking of Prabhupada, like when he first arrived. And, you know, and the people in 26 Second Avenue were like, well, you should, back in 1966, you should have seen it. There weren't any luxury condominiums. And we focus a lot on that. But he said that it was more challenging when he became successful. And we also probably forget like how successful he became, to think that, like, you know, he's at John Lennon's house, and, you know, with the Beatles, and with, you know, thousands of followers and everybody bowing down before him. And he said that was really the challenge. And we forget about that part. And you really made that very clear, the hot potato, that it's harder to remember that challenge when things are going well and the accolades are coming and everything's falling into place, that it's not us. And it relates to something else that you made very clear, which was, and the translation is so good, that Krishna arranged for the gopis' pride. You know, that they to as part of his mercy, and as part of enhancing the pastime and enhancing their love, which is, you know, just goes right through my heart. What an amazing teacher he is. But also that he's arranging everything, including their pride, and it makes you realize that, like, even if you think you're getting yourself out of the way and of being the doer, it's so innately impossible for us to. We think if we're proud that we're proud, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually Krishna arranging for that as well. So it just painted such a brilliant picture of sort of like how he's, you know, doing everything, and for our benefit, and through his mercy. It was really, really powerful. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Such a wonderful. And then especially Srila Prabhupada, you know, when how he handled success. So he said, you're all being sent by my spiritual master. You know, he didn't take any credit of his own. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada is a living example for all of us.
Krishna Daya Prabhu, how do we remain simple without drifting into familiarity?
Etiquettes help us. So we should not drift away from etiquettes. So like spiritual master, familiarity breeds contempt. So always, you know, Vaishnava etiquettes help us. Vaishnava etiquettes are like the Mangala Sutra. So they'll always help us to remain, offer obeisances. Don't take anybody for granted. Neither spiritual master, nor process, nor the center, as Prabhu said. This is just a small thing. So points is about 2 hours.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Damodar Priya Prabhu. Nice name, and then so much comments. Yeah, very good.
Okay, darshan time. Thank you. Okay, that was the class by Google Prabhu himself, Transcendental Google Prabhu. Okay, all right. Do we have any reflections or questions? Bhima Prabhu will answer questions today. No? Bhima Prabhu, you're lucky. There's no questions. Okay, so then Bruce Prabhu is in the dark. Where are you, Bruce Prabhu? What are you hiding?
I'm not hiding, but I do have a question that pertains to the class. It's this idea that we're to be very careful with compliments from others, and be tread very carefully and not get puffed up, etc. I just keep asking myself, like, we need this encouragement from other devotees, from other people, and the people we love. This encouragement is very helpful, very positive. But in the end, is it not a double-edged sword in a way that if we're offering somebody a compliment, yes, we're trying to encourage them, but then yes, we also run the risk of trying to, not hurt them as well. But it's sort of, I don't know. I haven't processed the question in my mind very well, but it's interesting because we're to be humble, we're to take all of our actions with humility. But then somebody tells you, wow, you're doing a good job, or congratulations on this, and yet you want to feel like, hey, yeah, I worked hard on that. That feels good. But yet that might not serve us, So it's interesting. I don't know. I didn't really have a question. It's more of a pondering question that's going on, and this small mind of mine doesn't really process so well sometimes. So I struggle with this. That was my 2 cents.
Thank you, Bruce Prabhu. Wonderfully said. So what's the difference between praise and encouragement? I don't think I can take on this question. Damodar Priya, would you like to share something?
Hare Krishna. I actually wanted to share based on Bruce's share because that made me think of how, like how when somebody gives a really good class, a lot of times Adipurusha Prabhu will praise their class, and at the same time he'll say, your spiritual master has really empowered you, and he like brings that in. So I was wondering if, when we are praising others, if we can kind of keep that in mind, and we also being specific, I think sometimes helps, and maybe phrasing it as a thank you. So like, thank you for your enthusiasm in doing I can see that you're really inspired by, and if you don't know their spiritual, you could just say like how Adipurusha says it, like generally, like your spiritual mentors or teachers are really inspiring you, so that in saying that, and I'm doing this for myself, like we're reminding the person to kind of like keep in mind where that energy is coming from, or maybe even mentioning Krishna, be like, wow, thank you so much for the, amazing food that you gave me. It tastes so delicious. Like Krishna has really empowered you in this service. Does that make any sense? I kind of thought of it.
No, helpful. Thank you. Helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Damodar Priya. Dim Prabhu, you're disappearing. Would you like to reflect on Bruce
I'm here.
and Damodar Priya's?
Well, I think I can't remember the exact quote on who said it, but humility is simply knowing the truth. Can I be heard? By the way, I'm on a lawnmower in the middle of the field here. Is simply knowing the truth of the matter. I, by the way, have never heard the term His Grace Bhima Prabhu. I probably won't hear that in this lifetime, but I have heard the term disgrace Bhima. You're a disgrace, Bhima Prabhu. So we simply repeat that to ourselves if we certainly go back a little bit in our memory, us Western devotees. I don't know about the Brahmins who were born into the movement as Brahmins. But those of us who were born as a typical American, all we have to do is remember where we came from. Most importantly, as is the saying on what humility truly is understanding the truth. What is the truth? Well, the fact of the matter is that there isn't a single cell in your brain that you designed. You did not design your brain. You did not design your mind. You did not come into this world and said, I am. You got your ass slapped by a doctor hanging from your ankles, and he slapped you into wakefulness, into the material nature, and you started crying, bawling your eyes out, and the whole world was centered around you. And then you were, given to your mother so that she could, you depended on your mother's suckling your mother's nutrition, just so you could learn to walk, to turn over, to roll. So if we just remember the fact that we're not responsible for any of our good qualities, materially or spiritual, that everything has been given to us, whether it be material or spiritual, if we just remember the truth of the matter, which is we're thrown into this world, we're given the grace of our spiritual master, our eyes, opened by the torchlight of knowledge given to me by my spiritual master. If we just remember what we were thinking about and how lost we were, if we can remember that, then we'll never be proud, because we understand that every little bit that we've gotten, whether it be brain cells to help us remember in Shastra and truth, or just my ability to not get crushed by my horses. This is all things that I have learned, by and virtue of hanging around better people, better souls than I ever were. So that's how I have come to understand my true position as fool number one. So if that helps anybody, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Just wanted to add just a few sentences. Bruce Prabhu's question made me reflect, and I was thinking, do I need encouragement? And I was like, yes, I certainly do. Sometimes it gets a little hard, and you feel a little sad, a little down. And then what do I do? What does Ananda Bihari do? What does he do? So I reach out to my intimate friends. Praise can come from a passerby or a devotee who you don't really know, but if you're looking for encouragement, that can come from a person who you are deeply connecting with. And we can just simply reach out to them and say, hey, I'm feeling down, please encourage me. And it works. I call Ganesham when I feel like that. I reach out to Adi, to Bhima. I have other people that I reach out to, and it works. Yeah. And I also remember how I was slept in the butt and how Guru is opening my eyes with torchlight of knowledge. That also helps. Yeah. I hope that helps, Bruce Prabhu. Thank you. Very nice, deep, reflective question. Thanks, Damodar Priya, Bhima Prabhu. His Grace Bhima Prabhu, I should say. Amita Kishori Didi, Vinisha, Papi C, Dana Krishna's Radharani. Thanks for sticking around. Yogeshwari, Pink Yogi of Harlem, Suzanne, Sharmila. If you ever need encouragement, unmute yourself, turn on your camera, and we will encourage you like crazy. Because we love you. We really appreciate your steadiness and sincerity. Thank you. Oh, by the way, I'm going away, Andrea. Damodar Priya. Sorry. I'm going away. I'm going to take a short duty. So we'll have to figure something out with hosting because I'll be in a different time zone. Yeah, Venetia is laughing at
WhatsApp
me.
and we'll make it happen. Don't worry. This
Okay.
is the family. It takes a village to make this happen, and we all can pitch it.
Yeah. It's a little village.
Those were emoji tears.
Oh,
No.
cheers. Okay. All right. So let's wrap it up. Let's go practice humility. Let's stand up to praise. Let's treat it like a hot potato. Pass it on to Guru and Krishna. And keep smiling, everybody. Bruce, Damodar Priya, Venetia, Amita Kishori. Yeah. Keep smiling, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.